The first time Ada heard about the floating city, she thought it was nothing more than a myth, a fantastical tale spun by sailors who spent too much time at sea. But in her small seaside town, where nothing ever seemed to change, the story of a city that drifted across the skies like a great, silent ship captivated her imagination. Some said the city was hidden by clouds, visible only to those who believed in magic. Others claimed it was inhabited by ancient beings who controlled the weather, the tides, even the stars. Ada didn't believe in those kinds of stories. Not really. But as a child, she had spent hours staring out at the endless blue sky, hoping to catch a glimpse of something impossible. And now, as she stood on the cliff's edge overlooking the ocean, she couldn't help but wonder, what if the stories were true? The wind whipped through her hair as she gazed out at the horizon. The sky was vast and empty, a pale blue canvas stretching endlessly toward the sea. But there, just at the edge of the world, was something strange, a flicker of movement. Ada squinted, shading her eyes from the glare of the afternoon sun. At first, she thought it was a flock of birds or a distant ship, but as she watched, the shape grew clearer, more distinct. It was a city, an entire city suspended in the sky, its towers gleaming in the sunlight. Ada's heart raced. It couldn't be. The floating city was just a story. And yet, there it was hovering above the clouds, moving slowly but steadily across the sky. She blinked, half expecting the image to disappear, but it remained, as real as the ocean below. Without thinking, Ada turned and ran, her feet pounding against the rocky path that led back to the village. She had to tell someone. She had to make them see. But as she reached the edge of the village, she slowed, her excitement fading into uncertainty. Who would believe her? The floating city was a legend, nothing more. And even if someone did believe her, what could they do? The city was high in the sky, far beyond their reach. Ada stopped in her tracks, her breath coming in quick, shallow bursts. The city still floated in the distance, but it seemed to be moving away, drifting slowly toward the horizon. She couldn't just let it go. She had to find a way to reach it. That night, after the village had fallen asleep, Ada packed a small bag with what little supplies she had, some bread, water, a flashlight, and a rope. She didn't know what she was planning to do, but she had a feeling that if she didn't leave now, she would regret it for the rest of her life. The night was cool and clear as Ada made her way down to the harbor. The boats bobbed gently in the water, their sails furled for the night. She had never sailed alone before, but she had grown up around boats and knew enough to get by. Besides, this wasn't a regular journey. She wasn't going to a place on any map. Ada chose the smallest boat she could find, a simple fishing skiff that looked sturdy enough for the journey ahead. She climbed aboard, her heart racing as she untied the ropes and pushed off from the dock. The boat rocked gently as it drifted into the open water, and Ada hoisted the sail, feeling the wind catch it and pull her forward. For hours, she sailed through the night, the stars twinkling above her like distant, silent watchers. The village disappeared behind her, and the open sea stretched out in all directions. She had no idea where she was going, but something inside her told her to keep sailing. Just as dawn began to break, the wind picked up, stronger than before. The sea churned beneath her boat, the waves growing larger, more powerful. Ada gripped the tiller tightly, her eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of the floating city. But the sky was empty. Suddenly, a gust of wind caught the sail, pulling the boat sharply to the side. Ada yelped, struggling to keep control as the boat tilted dangerously. The waves crashed against the hull, spraying salt water into the air. And then, just as quickly as it had started, the wind died down, leaving the boat rocking gently on the now calm sea. Ada wiped the water from her face, her heart pounding in her chest. She had almost lost control of the boat, but something else had caught her attention, something far more extraordinary. The sky above her was no longer empty. Directly overhead, suspended in the air like a giant ship, was the floating city. Its towers stretched high into the clouds, their gleaming surfaces reflecting the first light of dawn. The city seemed to shimmer, as if it were made of glass or crystal, its edges soft and hazy like a dream. Ada stared up at it, her mind racing. How was this possible? The city was real. It was right there just above her. But how could she reach it? As if in answer to her unspoken question, a shadow passed over the boat. Ada looked up just in time to see something descending from the city. A small, sleek ship, unlike anything she had ever seen. It was shaped like an arrowhead, its surface smooth and metallic, and it moved silently, as if gliding through the air on invisible wings. Ada's breath caught in her throat as the ship drew closer. For a moment, she thought about turning the boat around, about rowing back to the safety of the village and forgetting she had ever seen the floating city. But the thought vanished as quickly as it came. She had come this far. There was no turning back now. The ship hovered above her, casting a long shadow over the boat. A door slid open on its side, and a figure stepped out, silhouetted against the morning light. Ada squinted, trying to make out any details, but the figure was too far away. Slowly, the ship lowered itself until it was just above the water, and a ladder unfurled from its side, hanging down in front of Ada. She hesitated for only a moment before grabbing the rope ladder and pulling herself up. Her heart pounded in her chest as she climbed, the world below shrinking with every step. When she finally reached the top, she was greeted by the figure she had seen from below. It was a man, tall and lean, with sharp, angular features and piercing blue eyes. His clothes were strange, silver and fitted, like something out of a science fiction novel. But there was something familiar about him, something that made Ada feel like she had seen him before. "Welcome," the man said, his voice calm and steady. Ada opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. She glanced around, taking in the sleek interior of the ship, the smooth metal walls, the soft hum of the engines. Everything felt so surreal, so impossible. The man must have sensed her confusion because he smiled gently. "I know this is a lot to take in. Most people don't believe the city exists until they see it with their own eyes." Ada finally found her voice. "What is this place? How is it possible?" The man's smile widened. "The floating city is older than you can imagine. It was built long ago by people who understood the forces that govern the world, gravity, time, space. They used that knowledge to create a city that could move, that could float above the earth, free from the constraints of the ground." Ada stared at him, trying to process what he was saying. But why? Why build a city in the sky? The man's expression grew more serious. "The world below is complicated. There are forces at work that you don't understand, that most people don't even know exist. The city was built as a refuge, a place where we could live in peace, away from the chaos of the world." Ada frowned. "But if the city is so peaceful, why are there stories about it? Why do people think it's dangerous?" The man's gaze shifted toward the window, where the towers of the floating city gleamed in the sunlight. "Because not everyone can live in peace. There are those who seek to control the city, to use its power for their own purposes. That's why the city is hidden, why it moves from place to place. To keep it safe." Ada's heart raced as she listened to his words. The floating city was more than just a legend. It was a place of power, a place where the rules of the world didn't apply. And she had found it. "Why did you bring me here?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The man turned to face her, his blue eyes intense. "Because the city needs you. There's something happening, something that threatens the balance of the world. And you're the only one who can stop it." As they docked in the floating city, Ada's mind raced with questions. The ship had flown seamlessly into the docking bay, a vast structure suspended in the sky, where other ships like the one she had just climbed and hovered in perfect formation. The city itself was even more breathtaking up close. Glass-like towers, bridges suspended in midair, and streets paved with a material that gleamed like silver. "You're the only one who can stop it," the man had said. Ada had no idea what it was, but she knew one thing. She had been brought to the floating city for a reason, and she intended to find out why. The man, who had introduced himself as Kian, led her through the bustling streets of the floating city. People moved with purpose, dressed in strange, elegant garments that shimmered in the sunlight. The city felt alive, more than any place Ada had ever been. They approached a tall tower at the center of the city, its surface smooth and reflective, like a giant mirror. Kian motioned for her to follow him inside. As they stepped through the doors, Ada felt a strange energy wash over her, a hum that seemed to vibrate through the air. The inside of the tower was vast and open, with a high ceiling that disappeared into the clouds. In the center of the room was a large, circular table, around which sat several figures dressed in flowing robes of deep blue and silver. Kian stepped forward. "This is Ada. She's the one." The figures turned to look at her, their faces unreadable. One of them, a woman with silver hair and piercing green eyes, stood and approached her. "Welcome, Ada," the woman said. "My name is Seraphine. We have been expecting you." "Expecting me?" Ada repeated, her voice trembling slightly. "Why? What's going on?" Seraphine's gaze softened. "There's a storm coming, Ada. A storm that threatens not just the floating city, but the world below as well. Long ago, the city was built to protect the balance between the skies and the earth. But now, that balance is in danger." Ada frowned. "What do you mean? What kind of danger?" Seraphine sighed. "There is an ancient power that lies beneath the earth, a force that has been kept dormant for centuries. But something or someone has awakened it. If that power is unleashed, it could destroy the world." Ada's heart pounded in her chest. "And what does that have to do with me?" Seraphine stepped closer, her eyes searching Ada's. "Because you are the only one who can stop it. The power beneath the earth is connected to you, Ada. You have a gift, a connection to the forces that govern both the sky and the ground. That's why the city appeared to you. It chose you." Ada's mind reeled. A gift? A connection to the forces of the earth and sky? None of this made any sense. She was just an ordinary girl from a small village. She wasn't special. She wasn't chosen. But as she looked into Seraphine's eyes, she felt something stir inside her, something deep and ancient, something that had always been there, just waiting to be awakened. "What do I have to do?" she asked, her voice steady. Seraphine smiled, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "You must travel to the heart of the floating city, to the place where the sky meets the earth. There, you will find the key to stopping the storm.